And we are back, folks. Here, the Scoundrels and the Cantina to talk football. Week 7 is in the books, and goddamn, upset central. As always, your host, OldManLogan76, with Sturm and Bob. Gentlemen, how are we doing this week? Before we go into the nonsense of the NFL, how was everybody's weekend? How is everybody doing?
I think mine was
I'm
better
doing
than
good,
Sturm's.
guys. Yeah, well, I was in Chicago, I think, as I told you guys, for the game, and the weekend was fantastic until game time. That was a disaster.
Yeah, I'm sorry, brother, about that. Especially when
Yeah.
you go to watch it. It's even tougher.
Yeah, it's not even that they lost; it's just how they lost. I was like, "What's going on? This is pathetic."
And I agree with you. And it's that coach, man. He's terrible. He's
the worst.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Is this his third stint as a head coach? It's at
Well,
least his second because he coached the Broncos.
It's his second stint. There was you may recall there was a time he was offered a head job for the Colts, and he accepted for like an hour and then backed out.
Yeah, he shouldn't do this anymore because it's embarrassing him.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, obviously Sturm is a Raiders fan, and Sturm was there, went to Chicago, Raiders at Bears. Bears are looking like shit. Backup quarterback, and my goodness, Tyson Bagent.
I call him Teabag for short.
That's a good one. Not just backup. He's rookie, undrafted from Division II Shepherd University.
And he lit you up.
Well, I wouldn't say he lit us up, but he definitely won the game. Though 30 points is a lot of goddamn points to put up. 26 of those came from a pick six at the end of the game. But yeah, no, they dominated. They just dominated the game. Like we had no answer for anything. It was ridiculous. It was just utterly ridiculous.
Well, that being said, we will get into a deeper dive analysis of all of our teams, the favorites of the three of us that we played, and our hot takes. But Bob, you've had a rough season in terms of bragging rights and having a moment to speak your mind and talk shit, because it's pretty much been, well, more Sturm than me, but it's usually Sturm and myself.
Yeah, I just shine your guys' shoes, pick up trash behind you guys.
But Bob, you brother, you had a week. You had a week, dude. So.
And who saved me? The Patriots, baby. The
Patriots
game.
Of all the picks that were done from last week, Bob is our winner. And I cannot believe it, ladies and gentlemen, as I live and breathe right here. His Atlanta pick stunned us. His New England pick stunned us.
Yep.
I had to start going sleepers, man. You guys were getting me every time.
The Atlanta Tampa Bay pick, that was kind of a toss-up game. It was the New England Buffalo game. That was the real stunner.
No, man, I really felt like Tampa Bay was going to handle business against Atlanta. I really did. And you know what? I forgot? Baker Mayfield is behind center for Tampa Bay. That's what I forgot.
But he's not that
I
bad.
forgot that No, he is a mediocre quarterback that will go as far as his defense will take him.
Well, let's see. I didn't pay much attention to the game. It was a 3-point game. Baker Mayfield had 275 yards. Did he have a bunch of turnovers too?
I have to pull up my stats.
We'll have to look up the stats.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay had 2 turnovers, but the Falcons had 3. So he had 1 pick.
Yeah.
Looks like he had 1 pick.
Yeah. But Bob's biggest picks, and you know what? Let's go into one of the hot topics of the NFL for this week. And this has to do with one of Bob's picks. It was New England over Buffalo. Let's take a look at that game for a second, because I feel like every year we look at Buffalo and we go, "Ooh, yeah, AFC contender. Gonna be there. But then as the season goes on, some of the wheels start to fall off. And Buffalo has had its struggles the past couple of weeks getting off to a good start. And here we go in New England, division game. Belichick, they lay an egg. They lost. They beat a team they should have beaten. They lost 25-29. And all of us, Sturm, myself, the missus, we all look, Buffalo got this, but Bob said New England. So what happened in this game? Is Buffalo in trouble?
I don't think they're in trouble, but they're not as good as they once were, I don't think. And sometimes it seems like Josh Allen gets kind of sporadic, and he kind of tries to do too much and doesn't. I don't know, but do you guys feel like he kind of goes away from the game plan probably and just tries to do things on his own and try to kind of Mahomes it here and there too much? Do you think that's?
I didn't see. So my knowledge of all these games is a little bit less than normal because I only was at the Bears game this week. But what stunned me about this game was that the Buffalo gave up a Mac Jones less than 2-minute drive, touchdown, game-winning drive. How on earth did they let that happen?
Hey,
I don't know.
Real quick, just so we know, that Milano guy, Matt Milano, who is a badass linebacker. Like,
No, that's something I was going to bring up. I really feel like the loss of Matt Milano, and not only that, but the corner of Tre'Davious White, that made an impact. I feel like the Buffalo defense, like they were giving up some chunk plays, and Mac Jones was, for once all season, making some plays. And again, I mean, I think
they were running
Buffalo
okay.
They had 10 points halfway through the fourth quarter. Like you are not going to win close divisional rivalry games when you're looking for good placing in the playoffs. Like that is not something you should be doing. Like
22-10,
you need to beat
22-10 with exactly about halftime left in the fourth quarter. And then they scored 2 touchdowns, the Buffalo Bills did, and with last one with less than 2 minutes to go, in about a minute and a half, Mac Jones took him all the way down the field for 75 yards and scored the game-winning touchdown.
That was awesome. I was cheering, boy. That was awesome.
You know what? Those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, I feel like that was New England trying to play a little more conservatively. They were running the ball more because they had such a lead. And I mean, any team at that point is going to start passing more, whether the quarterback is seeing a nickel D or a dime. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But I think the bottom line is that New England dominated this game.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And
10-0, 13-3, 22-10. Yeah.
And Buffalo really has to ask them. They do. They have to ask themselves some questions about where are they going forward from here.
Yeah. Also,
they are.
Real quick, an interesting stat is it was Belichick's 300th win as well.
He's still not going to catch Shula.
Oh, I hope not. I don't really care for him, but it was still interesting that. How many other people is it? Is there 2 other people that have hit 300?
Hallis and Shula. That's it. George Hallis.
Who's the okay? You guys have been around longer than me. Who's the second guy? I know who.
George Hallis.
Yeah.
He's the founder, coach, owner of the Chicago Bears.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. And
the Bears have on one side, one sleeve of their uniforms, the initials GSH. That's George Stanley Hallis.
Yep, that's right.
So
the grandfather of the whole NFL.
So, yeah, I've never heard of him, which is strange. I've been listening or watching for quite a while.
Oh, my God. They called him Papa Bear. The guy, he had bald head and those glasses and a big trench coat on the sidelines. He coached multiple different stints. Like, he would coach for like 5 years, 10 years, whatever it was, he'd quit. They'd hire someone else. He'd come back and be the head coach. And he coached for decades. So
did
that's
he win
why
a
he's
Super
got
Bowl
some
or
wins.
anything?
No, he never coached in the Super Bowl era, I don't think. But he won like 5 or 6 NFL championships.
Holy shit! So this is before the merger of NFL and AFL.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
damn.
he died in the early 80s, right before they won their Super Bowl. So he never saw them win the Super Bowl.
Okay, that's why I've never heard of him. Probably. All right. Interesting. I was
Yeah, and
wondering.
his daughter is Virginia McCaskey, who is 100 years old and still the current owner of the Chicago Bears.
Huh.
Mm.
I did not know that.
So another big topic that was hitting the airwaves on a lot of the ESPN and Fox Sports broadcasts is the Jordan Love experiment a failure? Now Green Bay traveled to Denver. Green Bay need to rebound. Neither records of either squad is very good, but Jordan Love really needed to come out and ball, and he didn't. And Denver took the win. So, I mean, from the numbers that I'm seeing and what's going on with Green Bay, I don't think Jordan Love is good enough to bring this team back to any relevance. I think they're going to finish as a bottom feeder in this division. I mean, their run defense is horrible. They've had multiple games giving up 200-yard rushers.
Here's my thing though, real quick, is they were terrible even with Aaron Rodgers. Like I think just they're not that great. I can't tell you why. I don't really watch their games. But I just don't think they're that great. I mean, they were pretty awful last year with Aaron Rodgers. And that could have had something to do with Aaron Rodgers. He could have been throwing, he didn't want to be there. So maybe he just wanted to play like shit and get out of there. I don't know. But I don't think it's just him. I just don't think they're good right now. Maybe
But that's the question though. With what we have right now, week 7, Jordan Love, is that the answer to Green Bay? I'm going to say right now, with the body of evidence that I have in front of me, no.
But it could be.
Well,
you don't even know if it could be.
Think about Jalen Hurts' first year. Like, it took 2 years, didn't it? Like, his first year or two, he did not play well. Now he's fucking insane. He's right underneath Mahomes. So it just...
I believe Aaron Rodgers' first year they were 6-10, but I think that's the only losing record they ever had, and I think they still flashed signs of being a great quarterback. I haven't seen anything out of Jordan Love. I mean, I guess week 1 they dominated the Bears, which is something we couldn't even do. But other than that, they've really stunk it up. And I will say, for the record, I did pick the Broncos to win this game. FYI, you guys both picked Packers, so you know.
You know what? We will give you that, Stern.
But I mean, it is embarrassing that they got beat by that team as well, because they're fucking bad.
That's true. But yeah, look at the Packers' results. So they're one win. They dominated the Bears in week 1. They got lucky because the Saints lost Derek Carr. That was their second win. And every other game I guess they haven't been blown out, but they've lost pretty convincingly. So, I don't see anything out of Jordan Love that would give me hope if I was a Packers fan, which I think is fantastic, because if anyone needs to come back to earth after all the years of stellar quarterback play, it's the goddamn Packers.
You know, it was the whole thing of my lack of any belief in Russell Wilson since he left Seattle that I thought Jordan Love would, but it was, his numbers are misleading. Yeah, people go, "Oh, he was 21 of 31 for $180." Yeah, he was 21 of 31 for $180. He was playing conservative football.
Yeah. 2
touchdowns, 1 pick. He still had a pick. He's not airing it out. He's not. I mean, his longest pass play in that game was 15 yards.
And let's be honest, if the Broncos were a team that was competent, I mean, They got 3 field goals in the first half. If those were touchdowns, this game would have been a
right?
blowout.
Blowout, absolute blowout. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not
Is it the coach?
buying.
The coach.
I'm
I
not
feel like when
buying
they got
Jordan Love to Green Bay.
I feel like when they brought what's his name, LaFleur, or I don't know what the hell you say his name.
LaFleur, Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur is an offensive-minded coach. The problem is, I don't think he has the quarterback. If anything, I would say I think they're protecting him too much. They're too worried about his confidence, and they're not letting him kind of air it. Like, prime example, Tyrod Taylor. Daniel Jones has been injured. You know, I watched that man this past Sunday throw some beautiful floaters with the confidence of a veteran. Jordan Love doesn't have that. And they're not letting Jordan Love try it. Again, his longest pass completion was 15 yards. They're not letting the man try to play. They're just going like, here's the playbook. Just don't fuck it up. And he fucked it up. They lost to Denver.
Yeah, they sure did. Maybe they don't have any faith or confidence. Right? They see him in practice every day. They see him in the film room and the quarterback room, and maybe they think this guy is just they need to put a leash on him, otherwise he'd have 4 turnovers every game. You know what I mean? He had 1 interception. He said as long as pass was 15 yards. If he's throwing him 30 yards downfield, he's gonna have 4.
So let's move on to another upset we had, because we want to talk about each of our teams.
Can I pick the next one?
No.
Okay.
So
it wasn't the Chiefs.
The Raiders at the Bears. Let's because I did say off air, and I hate to say it, but I think the Raiders are done. I don't think you have the answer at quarterback. You can't keep the quarterback you want on his feet, and that has been a long history with Jimmy G. Brian Hoyer from this performance obviously is not the answer.
No.
You have a lot of you do. You have a lot of key players. You do. You have talent. The issue is it's quarterback. So
it's quarterback. It's more so than that. I think it's scheme because this isn't. We weren't playing the 85 Bears. We're playing the 2023 Bears, and their defense is nothing to write home about. And when you've got Josh Jacobs, he gets 11 carries for like 35 yards, and he does it week after week, and that's all he can get. And Devontae Adams gets he has 55 yards or something. I don't have the stats in front of me.
39 total rushing yards.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, this isn't the 85 Bears, right? This is the 23 Bears. And you can't throw 57 yards for Devontae, 35 for Josh Jacobs. Brian Hoyer had 2 picks. One was a pick 6, a horrible pick 6. He barely completed 50% of his passes. We had 3 turnovers, and we got dominated in time of possession. We had no offensive flow. We couldn't string together first downs. And the whole point of Brian Hoyer is he's a game manager, right? He's the 15-year veteran who's not going to lose a game. If he has to come in and start a game, he's not going to lose it. And if he's not going to lose, this is the perfect setup for a guy like him, right? We're going in to play the Bears. This is the time when you need to be able to be a good game manager, just grind out a win and be done, and then we could get back to Jimmy G. But no, I couldn't even do that. He got fucking destroyed. It was just ugly to watch. It was it was some of the ugliest football I've ever seen in my life.
And then you guys brought in Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, and he lit it up.
10 of 13. He did have a pick.
He did have a pick. He had 2 drives. One was a touchdown. One was a pick. Now, granted, it's garbage time too. So, but the thing of it is they should have they should have absolutely started Aiden O'Connell in this game. I get the thinking that, okay, well, this is a game we can win. Again, we want to grind it out. We got the guy who's not going to make any rookie mistakes, but it didn't matter. So it's like this was a wasted opportunity to see what we had in Aiden O'Connell. And who knows? Maybe we would have won the game with Aiden. Maybe he would have had a spark. He started shitty in the Chargers game, but by the second half, he was driving them down the field. So I just think it's bad coaching. Just bad coaching. McDaniel's supposed to be this offensive genius. He should have had this team ready to go against the Chicago Bears. There's no question about it.
I'll ask you this, and I don't know if this is a coaching thing or not, but this is something that has plagued your team for a while. And if you look at it, once again, the turnover differential.
Yeah.
Why does your squad not for a season and a half to 2 seasons, you guys can't buy a fucking turnover?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
I
wish I knew.
Come on, man. You guys got beat by someone's nickname being Teabag on his first game.
Bob, that is not helpful.
I'm sorry, buddy. I had to say it.
I mean, I was nervous about this game because it's an old story in football. Starter who's struggling gets hurt. Some kind of backup comes in, rookie backup or whatever, and a spark is lit, and all of a sudden they go on a tear, and now you've got a quarterback controversy, which my wife is the Bears fan. I told her, well, at least the thing you get out of this game is now you got a goddamn quarterback controversy. Eat that. So.
You know what? They do. They do have a quarterback controversy because that fucking kid, he was good.
I have a question. We were just talking about what's the Green Bay's quarterback?
Jordan Love.
They remind me of each other. Justin Fields and Jordan Love, and they have similar names. Anyways, who do you think is better? I think it's Justin Fields that has a better chance of doing well in the future.
That's actually a really good question.
I think Jordan Love does, just because Jordan Love has been in the same organization, the same system. I think he's set up for more success than the latter.
I think that's true, but I think Justin Fields has more talent both as a runner and a thrower.
I would agree with that. I think
Fields has flashed more than
in the right system.
He's shown a lot more flashes, and I think he's had a few better games.
He's had more opportunities too, though. This is only Love's first season; it's Fields' third. So
yeah,
that's true.
But that was my problem with the Chicago game. Chicago scored 7 in the first, and I'm going, God damn it, with the Raiders defense and the fact that they can't get a turnover. You guys have to score first. You guys have to score. And
no, you're right. We do, because we can't come back because our offense is just there's no flow to the offense. They can never get into a rhythm. And again, who can I blame? It has to be McDaniels. He's the guy, this offensive genius. He can't get the team in any kind of rhythm or flow. You got one of the best running backs and best wide receivers in the league.
And you have one of the best defensive, Max Crosby is eventually going to be dude, I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah. He's such a good player. He gets a sack. He got a sack. He got a sack again last week.
He had five total tackles, 2 solos, and a sack.
Yeah,
he did his job. He had a good game.
Yep. Yeah, it's frustrating. And then, so the score was 21-3, and we had the ball, I think, at the Bears 35 or something, and 4th and whatever. And we kick a field goal, and it was the 3rd or 4th quarter, and it's what on earth are we doing? That was a horrible coaching decision. You gotta go for it. What are you going 21-6? Bullshit.
So, all right, Bob. What upset? It's your call. You can either talk about your Chiefs.
No, we can hold off on that because there's one that I just was really happy about when I saw the score, and that was the Lions and Ravens. The Lions pissed me off from the beginning, and now I just revel in their losses every time now. So yeah, the Lions they won one game, they were 1-0, and they were going to the Super Bowl. Now they're still 5-2. They're still a great team.
I never said that.
No, a lot of people were though when it came out, because they beat the former Super Bowl people. But
I just said they were good.
But anyways, I mean, I don't have a lot to say about it. It was. I don't know. I think are the Ravens that good, or was it kind of a fluke game? What do you guys think about that one?
It was a surprising game, that's for sure. See them down 28-0 at I think the halftime, and then to lose that by that big a score. I think the Lions needed to come down to earth a little bit. I think that's probably the case, and I don't think the Ravens are that good either. I think it was just sometimes a game runs away from you a little bit, and I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Bob.
Oh, I was just gonna say that it did surprise me, but I do just think that Detroit seems like they kind of have a big head, and I think that's what annoys me a little bit with them. And so I think that's exactly what it was. Even the Chiefs do it sometimes. They'll look down on their opponent and they'll get their ass kicked. It doesn't happen too often, but it happens to people. So I think sometimes they just got to be checked, and they'll probably come back, and I'm sure they'll make it the playoffs, and it'll be entertaining. But what about the Ravens?
Yvonne says it's the first game that Lamar showed up this season in the chat.
I don't know. I haven't been following him too much, but it seems like he's been kicking ass.
No, I've got to agree with Avant. I think that is the first game that Lamar Jackson has really showed what he's capable of. And I think for a team that is not very familiar with facing him, like Detroit, and, again, I've been talking about Detroit all season. I'm going to continue. I think their roster is outstanding. I think they're young, explosive. I think Jared Goff is the perfect quarterback for what they're trying to achieve.
But if you can't beat the Ravens or even do a fair game with them, they're not as good as what everyone's giving them.
However, all teams, even the Chiefs, like week 1, who dropped one against the Lions, lay an egg.
By 1 point, mind you. By 1 point.
Okay. But every team, like that saying, any given Sunday, every team is a bad day. I'm not going to doubt the Lions. I think this is a game they should just flush and go, okay, all right. We traveled somewhere we're not familiar with and got humbled. So leave it at that. For the Ravens, I think this is an amazing confidence booster. I think Lamar Jackson played a masterful game. Zay Flowers, their rookie receiver, is becoming a very reliable target. I think he caught 4. Yeah, from what I'm looking at, 4 catches for 75 yards. Lamar threw for 255. And
357. He threw for 357.
And that was the first half.
Oh, first half. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it was 28-0. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
So I'm not going to feed too much into people going, oh, Detroit. No, I still think they're a very good team. I think this was good for them. They lost one, go home, readjust. I hate to say it. It's a good confidence booster for Baltimore. My team's got to deal with them one more time. I hate Baltimore, but I'm a Steeler fan. That's the way it is. But yeah, it was actually a boring game. It was just Baltimore beating the shit out of them.
The Ravens are weird though. Kind of like the Buffalo Bills, where they'll just insanely show off and just kick someone's ass, or even if it's a close game, it feels like they kick the shit out of the person, and then I
feel yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Bob,
they'll go the other way. They'll go the other way and just like choke or something, like go the entire other spectrum, and it's weird.
And I feel like that's what keeps Baltimore in the conversation with like Buffalo and teams that could rival Kansas City. But again, every week you don't know what Baltimore team you're going to get. Like they did amazingly well this week. Next week,
you won't know.
They could,
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. They're unreliable.
Yep. And even when they were at the top of their game, the prime, when he was, and they were making the playoffs, he choked every time. They choked every single time horribly in the playoffs. It was always embarrassing for him. Anyways, you guys have anything else to say about that one?
Well,
Nope.
I will say the Lions get the Raiders next week on Monday Night Football. So
come on, Sturm, make me proud, buddy. I'm actually rooting for the Raiders on that one. So I don't know if I'm going to pick them, but
we'll see if Jimmy G plays. We'll see if Jimmy G plays. If Jimmy G plays, hey, we got a chance. But without Jimmy, well, who knows? Maybe Aiden O'Connell can light it up. Who knows? Whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yep. Logan, you want to talk about your Steelers? Steelers Rams?
Oh boy, Steelers Rams. So here we go. So as everybody knows from last week, I picked the Rams. I thought and it didn't matter to me that the Steelers were coming off a bye week. I thought with the transition of Cooper Kupp coming back and Puka Nacua, that was going to be enough for Matthew Stafford to sit back and pick apart our defense. And with our offense, I mean, really, we weren't going to do anything. It was only a matter of time. It'll be a low-scoring affair, maybe the first quarter, and then the Rams would figure it out and light us up, and that would be it. But then something else happened. I started to realize why our offense has missed Charles Johnson. And I also noticed something else. And I would hope it's Matt Canada. I still want him fired. But the Steelers ran more dual tight end sets than they have ever in the past 2 seasons. As a result, our running game was a little more effective. Our passing game with Charles Johnson in there was more effective. Granted, the first half, we didn't do shit. But our defense, holy shit, our defense, I cannot believe. I don't know how many yards we held Cooper Kupp. I think it was
29 yards.
Yeah. Now
I can't believe Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua, he went off.
Yeah.
He went absolutely
154 yards. Is he breaking records or anything? Because
how many touchdowns did he have?
0.
None, but the 154, that's crazy.
But that's the thing, though. But that's something like those are numbers. I feel like those are, and I think Sturm would agree with me. Those are numbers you want to look at.
But all right, you gave up a touchdown to somebody named Tutu.
That's because Puka and Cooper Kupp were covered. Can't cover everybody. But the fact that Puka Nacua had that many yards and no touchdowns, that to me is a defense that bends but doesn't break.
And that's what really matters. It's kind of like the Chiefs. They'll give these horrible, huge, long fucking passes, and I'm just cringing and stomping, and then they'll like stop them or they'll kick a field goal or something. So yeah, the bend not break I'll take all day.
Sturm, did you see that interception that TJ Watt had?
No, I didn't.
He actually for once, and I don't, and even Stafford admitted in an interview, I didn't see him. TJ Watt went into coverage and he rushed in and he picked Stafford's fucking pocket. He's out shopping on his credit cards. Like that play was, I was screaming. I was going out of my mind.
I'll have to check it out on the replay.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch this game, so
I will say this, and this was actually brought up in This was actually brought up with Colin Cowherd, who I don't take a lot of stock in, but he brought up some numbers about Kenny Pickett in the fourth quarter. 107 passer rating, and already in his very limited NFL career has like 6 fourth quarter comebacks. So he's one of those quarterbacks that in the end will really shine to put the game away. And I'm not going to lie, the fact that my Steelers are sitting at 4-2, I'm shocked.
So the Rams cut their kicker today. I saw that, and he missed basically 7 points worth of kicks.
He missed 3 kicks. Yep.
Yeah.
Are you serious? What's his name?
Yeah. Brett Maher. He was the Broncos' old kicker.
Yep.
I know. Was it Cowboys? Cowboys, Broncos? Maybe both. I can't remember.
You missed 3 kicks. You're out of here, buddy.
Yeah, that's tough. But
you have one job.
Two of the field goals were both over 50 yards, which are never gimmies, and he missed an extra point.
Well,
so
yeah, I guess that's different though. 50 yards, come on. That's kind of like a 50-50 thing anyways.
Yeah, probably more. You should get the more than 50-50 if you're an NFL kicker. But they're not easy. They're not easy. But I just want to I want a quick follow up on Puka Nacua because this guy is phenomenal. First of all, he's only scored 2 touchdowns all season, which is shocking because he feels like he's been scoring all over the place. But he has 752 yards on 58 catches, which is going to project, if he can maintain this pace, 141 catches for 1,826 yards for a rookie. That's insane.
That's insanity. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They hit the lottery on that.
That would probably be a top 5 receiving season all time. Definitely top 10. I think probably top 5.
Yeah,
at least for yards and catches.
We said this the other day that there's never been a 2K receiver.
Yeah.
So, but Tyreek Hill's on his projected to smoke that, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of football left, but
hey,
man,
can I throw out this really random? It kind of ties the Steelers. It's just random as shit, but I thought it was hilarious, and it has to deal with Chase Claypool. All right,
I'm glad we got rid of him.
All right, so since trading,
the reason why we got Joey Porter Jr.
Listen to this. Since trading Chase Claypool, the Bears are 2-1, and we're 0-13 with him.
Oh my God!
The Dolphins were 5-1 before activating him, and are 0-1 since activating him. The Steelers were 2-6 with him, and are now 11-4 since trading him. Isn't that a weird stat?
Is he locker room poison? Is he one of those guys?
No, Chase Claypool. That's why we done.
Why? Like, I don't really know much about the guy. I remember he used to do really well for the Steelers. He'd always make big plays.
Not really.
Okay.
And we gave him to the Bears for the number 1 pick in the second round, and we got Joey Porter Jr. I'm good with it.
Jack Daniels in the chat reminded me Maher missed 4 extra points in a wild card game for the Cowboys. That's right. Oof.
Damn.
Oh shit. That's rough.
Yeah, you're done.
So that guy's had a history there. But no, before we leave the Steelers, I got a question for Logan. So Steelers are 4-2. Are they contenders or are they pretenders?
To be 100% right now, until I watch the next week's game against Jacksonville, they're pretenders. I think Jacksonville is in a good place, and we'll get into this when we do our picks, but Jacksonville's defense isn't very good, but they're incredibly opportunistic. I think they lead the league in turnovers. Like, they just find ways to turn over the ball. Trevor Lawrence, like, he's playing well, but I don't know. I think I expected him to light it up more. What's encouraging for me is that, yeah, Puka Nakua got his yards, but no touchdowns. Cooper Kupp was held to 2 touches for 35 yards. The Steeler defense is handling good wide receiver cores, at least in this last week. This next game is in Pittsburgh. I don't know. And again, depending on what happens in Jacksonville, I'm still calling the Steelers pretenders. The defense, I don't buy the offense yet.
And when you look at the Jaguars, I mean, we had kind of written that team off earlier in the year, and all of a sudden there they are sitting 5-2.
Yeah.
And look at the Bengals coming off their bye at their perfect time, and they're catching a reeling 49ers team next week. All of a sudden, they're not looking so bad either.
Well, that was going to be my next topic.
We'll get there, boys. We'll get there.
Niners, but the Steelers. I mean, do I think can they beat the Jags? Yeah, I think they can, but I mean, it's if we get Pat Freiermuth back from the hamstring, that's going to add some offensive. I mean, I don't know.
I think we need to see something. We need to see something out of Kenny Pickett, where he needs to take over a game and just win one for you guys. Like where he needs to be able to step up and say, I can do this. Now, the fact that they came back from 7 down against the Rams, that's pretty impressive in the fourth quarter, 2 touchdown drives. Now, he didn't throw any touchdown passes, but I didn't see how it played out. But he led the drive.
Very smart football.
Yeah.
And Charles Johnson coming back was huge. Yeah. Granted, he played, if I look at the notes, he played 35 snaps, but there were some plays where he was a difference maker.
Yeah. One thing I always like to remember when people start talking about these young quarterbacks is there was a time that Tom Brady was considered to be a game manager. And after they won that first Super Bowl, they dropped an egg. I think they were 8-8 that year after. Maybe they were 9-7. They missed the playoffs. And there were all kinds of questions about Tom Brady's future and whether or not he was the guy to lead the team and or he was just going to be one of these game manager guys. And of course, the rest is history, as they say. So, it's not, you can't write a guy off just after a year and a half. So you got to give him a little more time, I think, sometimes.
No, I'd agree with that. Yep.
Okay, we've been spending 45 minutes on the Steelers. I get 30 seconds. So can we move on?
The Chiefs are boring. They just keep only if you tell us about to give us a Taylor Swift update. Then you can have as much time as you want.
That's what I spend most of my updates on is her. Are we moving on to this, or are we still talking?
Yeah, come on. I thought you wanted to talk about the Chiefs.
We're doing Chiefs now. Okay, all right.
Go for it.
Let's talk.
Take over. You got the mic.
So Chiefs won 31-17 against the Chargers. I'm always nervous about these games, but we kicked their ass pretty bad. The thing about this was we kicked their ass in the first half. The second half was scoreless except for 1 touchdown by us in the fourth quarter. So they kind of started stopping us. But either way, Mahomes 424 yards, 4 touchdowns. He threw a really bad pick too. Now at a time in the game where it was more close. But besides that, he was fucking flawless. I don't know if they have his quarterback rating on here, but they didn't. They barely ran the ball. They didn't really need to. Obviously, they knew something was up. But a big deal is Nick Bolton. I don't know. Do you guys know much about him? He is a fucking beast, though. He is the heart of that defense. He's out.
No, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt.
But ironically, we got a guy named is it Drew Tranquil? He played for the Chargers last year, and we signed him, and he's really good. So he's a backup, but he's starting caliber. So we're not going to lose too much. So before I get into a few obscure facts, is there anything you guys want to say about the Chiefs except that they're the best? Oh, one more thing is how ironic that Bonestradamus rises to the throne of this tonight. While the Chiefs sit at number one above everyone, and even over the Eagles. Look it up. They're number
Well,
one.
I do have a question. What's wrong with the Chiefs running game? Isaiah Pacheco, 13 for 32. Ouch.
Go look at the other games. There's nothing wrong. They didn't need to run. And yeah, they don't need it. But what was weird is they would put like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, I feel for the guy. I want him to do good. He's not very good. Like, I wish we would move on to him, off from him, because they keep giving him like 3 or 4 carries a game when it could go to Pacheco or McKinnon. So but I like how you guys are always talking about the running back game. Don't worry about us over here.
If you want to win games in January, you usually need a pretty good running game.
Okay, so let me spit some facts and we can move on, all right? So the defense is the most impressive part of the whole season. We're kicking ass. We're the only team in the entire league that has held each one of its 20 opponents to 21 points or less. The Chiefs were the 18th defending Super Bowl champion to lose their season opener. They're the first ever to win their next 6 games. Just think about that. Now think about that one on top of what I'm about to tell you right now. The Kansas City Chiefs are the first team to be top 5 in all 3 phases as of Week 7 since the 1999 Rams. We're number 4 in offense, number 5 in defense, and number 2 in special teams. Now, what the cool thing is, the other teams that were part of this, the 1984 Redskins, 1985 Bears, 1990 Giants, 1991 Redskins, and 1996 Packers. Now, Sturm, how many of those people won the Super Bowl?
They all won except for the 84 Redskins.
That's right. So what do you guys think I'm going to say? Fucking Chiefs they're doing it, boys. They're doing it. Is there anything you guys want to say to hate them or anything?
Yeah, I will say this. Last time I checked, they don't hand out Lombardi trophies in Week 7. So,
You're right. But history repeats itself, my man. History repeats itself.
Yeah, it could be just like the 84 Redskins.
Get out of here. Besides that, it's just a regular Chiefs game, right? That's why everyone's bored. They just want to know what Taylor Swift's doing. But one more thing I want to say real quick is that Travis Kelce, man, he had a career high. This is the highest career yards he's ever had in a game, 179, with just a touchdown, but he was fucking killing it. I think
that is a crazy amount for a tight end. I got to say, that's huge.
So whether you hate,
I wonder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
I was just gonna say, I wonder where that ranks in like all-time games for a tight end receiving, because the record can't be much more than that. I wouldn't think.
I mean, dude, I think he's gonna beat Tony Gonzalez. We're gonna have the 2 greatest tight ends of all time. But whether you love him or hate him, you're watching a goat throw to another goat. This is something people should cherish. If you don't mind watching the Chiefs, definitely cherish it while you can, because and you know what's crazy is Travis Kelce's the same age as Rob Gronkowski. Do you guys know that?
You mean, no, they're not. They can't be.
Yes, they
right
are.
Now they're the same age.
I fucking swear to God to you. Yes. I think what's his name got like drafted out of high school or something. Gronkowski.
I think Travis Kelce's 32, right?
They're both 34, I think. Gronkowski looks like he's 52. He's 34.
All right, I'm looking it up. Gronkowski was born in 1989. Which
means I'm 1 year older than him, and I'm 35.
He's 34, and I'm pretty sure Kelsey's 32. Let's find out. I will say I'm surprised that Gronkowski's that young. I figured he'd be older.
Yeah, so did I. And he's been playing.
Actually, you're right. He was born in '89. They are both 34. You're right. Wow. I would have never guessed that in a million years. Yeah. Why the hell is he not playing anymore?
He's been playing a lot longer, I feel like. And Kelsey was hurt his first year as well, so he didn't play. But yeah, also McCole Hardman. Okay, one more thing. I keep saying this and I'm done. McCole Hardman was traded this last week from the Jets. He signed with the Jets, so he was there for like half a year, and he came back to us. He did a great job. He went off. I don't know how big the return is. I don't know if they have that stat here, but kick returns. He had a 50-yarder, and it kind of sparked the offense to do a little bit better too. One other one is, I don't know how to say his name. I've been trying to say it all. Amanahu. Charles Amanahu. I think yeah, he's really good. We signed him, but he was suspended for the first 6 to 8 games. He came in and he had, let's see, 2 tackles. He swatted a pass for an interception, and I think he had 2 sacks as well. So him and CJ are going to be going pretty crazy. You want to hear another thing? Chris Jones has zeros all across the board. He was non-existent. And I was watching, and he would, like, give up. Do you guys see that happen very often? He would just kind of push the center a little bit and wasn't doing anything. Isn't that weird to you guys? And if you look at his stats, he had zeros all across the board.
He had a 1 quarterback hit that I see, but that doesn't really count as an official
But I would watch
stats.
him, and he wasn't doing it. Like, it was obvious he was taking plays off, and maybe that's just to conserve energy and take up space while the other people do it. I don't know, but anyways, that's all.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the game, but if I had a comment on this game, I'm not surprised. The Chargers are as poorly coached as the Raiders are, so
terrible.
They've got all the tools in the world, and they just can't get out of their own way. They suck.
Such a waste of talent, man. They need to be calling for that guy's head. I'm not saying his coaching was just horrible or anything against us. It was just you're playing the Chiefs, but if you can't beat the Chiefs or make up for all the shittiness you've done previously, you might as well just move on.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's got such a history of just terrible coaching decisions, and you're like, oh my god.
Yep. Well, personally, I think the division champ for the Chiefs, that's just it's good to them.
You're dealing with a young Peyton Manning, and you have to deal with him your whole life now until he retires, pretty much.
With the record that the Chiefs have and how they're playing, it's more than likely the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Arrowhead.
I feel sorry for you, Sturm, because you and I both had to go through the Peyton Manning days with Broncos, and then you have to deal with a young Mahomes.
Don't worry. Eventually, you guys will be like, we got to deal with Aiden O'Connell. So there.
That's right, brother. That's right.
Or maybe we'll get ourselves a Caleb Williams. What do you think about that?
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. I never thought that I'd get Mahomes. I didn't know who the fuck he was. I was mad that Alex Smith got traded. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
So you never know, man.
Did you hear this report? I think it was this weekend. They said, like, Caleb Williams. That's his name, right? The guy from USC is Caleb Williams.
I believe
USC. Yep.
Yeah. Saying something about when once he gets drafted, he's going to be looking for an ownership piece and whoever picks him up or something as part of his contract. And everyone's like, wait, what?
He was getting roasted because you can't legally do that. It's in the contract. You can't own a piece and play.
Even if, just assume for a second, you could. What team would give a piece of the ownership to a first-round draft pick? Who never played it down?
None.
Imagine, Sturm, if you gave Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you don't do it. It's a coin flip for the most part. You don't know how these guys are going to turn out.
Yep. I thought that was funny, too. I was like, well, there went his draft stock. But you can't do that. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, let's hop into the next week's schedule.
Well, real quick, I want to do an honorable mention real quick. Eagles beat the shit out of the Dolphins.
That didn't surprise me. That didn't surprise me.
But remember, Logan, we wanted to mention that the Dolphins have not played anyone. When they've beat somebody, it's been a horrible team. And when
that's right, and that's why that week I picked Philly. I wasn't buying Miami. Who have they beaten? They've scored ridiculous amount of points on shit teams. They've lost to Buffalo. They've lost to Philly in double-digit losses.
Bad ways. And they've beat the Chargers, Patriots, Broncos, Giants, and Panthers. I don't think the Panthers have even won yet.
I feel like the Dolphins are a lot of flash. Defensively, they can be exposed. That's apparent. I don't know. I'm not. They're a good team. Miami is a good team. They're a well-coached team, but
The jury's out on them. I mean, they can't control who
yeah,
they
I'm
play,
not. I'm
right?
not buying it yet. I'm not buying the Miami. It's not buying it yet.
Yeah, I agree.
But they're back in first place because the Bills keep tanking, and
No,
you know,
no.
uh, they're a team that I think probably as much as the Chiefs do, at least offensively, they strike some fear in you that they can all of a sudden turn around and drop 30 points in the blink of an eye. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm very curious and interested to see how the Dolphins season plays out because they are definitely an interesting team. And yeah, you're right. They haven't really beaten anybody yet, but lots of games left to play.
And they got Kansas City coming up.
In Germany.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Tyreek Hill's
Oh
coming
yeah,
back.
that's right. That's going to be an amazing game. Yeah, and Germany's got a good one this year for sure.
Yep. Is this the first time? I don't know if it is, but it might be the first time we play Tyreek Hill since we've traded him as well. I'm not sure though.
No, it should be actually. Yeah.
Yep. So that'll be a fun game. So let's get moving on here. One more game, and this was might have been the game of the week for me. 49ers versus the Vikings last night, Monday night.
Oh yeah.
And this is the last
Big.
game.
Yeah, you're right. No, Bob, you got me there. Big topics here. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. Is Brock Purdy overrated, and is Kirk Cousins underrated?
Great subject, because I've been arguing about it all day in Discord with people.
What's your take, Bones? Let's hear it.
I think Brock Purdy is just a regular quarterback. I don't think he's horrible. I think he's much better than a lot of quarterbacks. I don't think he's God or a heaven sent to them like everyone acts like he is. Like, they keep giving him the credit like he's the reason for all the success. There was still consistent success with the 49ers and Shanahan. He chokes a lot, but he still does great. In the regular season, the 49ers are one of the best teams most of the time. I know that they'll be like the best team for 2 years and then win 2 games one season or something. They're strange. But they've always been Shanahan does a good well of being pretty damn consistent all the time, no matter who the quarterback is or who was playing. He's one of those coaches. I don't like them a lot, so I don't want to give him too much credit. But I think he's just middle of the pack, man. He's not great. He's not horrible. It's just they keep giving him too much credit. And when they lose, it's on somebody else. It's never on Purdy. It's on someone else. But when they win, it's all about Purdy. And Purdy. So, What's that?
Well, so here's what I'll say about Purdy. The only 2 games in the regular season he's lost were the last 2, right? Every other game he started, he's won.
Yeah.
And the Browns game came down to a missed field goal. He drove him down the field, missed a field goal. Otherwise, they would have won that one. And then last night, you have that ridiculous Jordan Addison catch for a touchdown, which ends up being the difference in that game. Yep. So, I'm not gonna rain on Brock. I'm not ready to anoint Brock Purdy the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm also not gonna shit on him because of two losses on the road to one of the best defenses in the league in the Browns. And Minnesota is a notoriously hard place to play on the road for anybody, no matter how good or bad they are. And I think they're underrated. So I'm not, I think, again, the Niners, they weren't going to go 17-0, but, they would probably lose 4 games a year. So here's 2 of them. I'm not worried about the Niners. I'm not worried about Brock Purdy.
Okay, but just like we did to the 5-2 Miami, let's go back and see who they beat. No offense to Logan there, but it was Steelers 30-7. Rams, okay, Rams is like right there. Those 2 always go at it all the time. Giants 30-12. Cardinals, the Cowboys get too much credit. They are overrated. They're decent, but they're not that good. So
the Cowboys are a good team. The Steelers are a good team. The Rams are a good team, and that's a divisional matchup. I'm not buying that argument.
Yeah, no, I'm to be 100% honest. I feel like Minnesota had a really good game plan, other than one big play, they really limited Christian McCaffrey to where he could go and where he could run. And I think Minnesota went in there with a really good game plan. I think Kirk Cousins was sensing the moment that this is where, if I want my team to have any kind of shot, this is where I need to prove it right now. And I mean, you look at his numbers and what he did, 35 of 45, 2 touchdowns. I mean, on that defense, yeah, he had a pick, but he was dropping some shit.
Dude, he was
that Jordan Addison play. That Jordan Addison play was crazy, right?
So we should talk about. Since you brought that up, I want to bring the precursor to that Jordan Addison play because I don't know. It was very, very early on in the game. Kirk Cousins throws to Jordan Addison and Charvarius Ward, who you guys hate this, but Chiefs drafted him and we traded to the 49ers. He rips the ball out for an interception from Jordan Addison. And I don't know how long later it was, but fucking Kirk Cousins throws to Jordan Addison, and Jordan Addison wrestles it out of Charvarius Ward's hands and goes in for a touchdown. And it was an insane play because it was
right. It was an amazing play. And that was 7 points. But here's the point I'm trying to make. Christian McCaffrey on 15 carries had 45 yards. The Minnesota defense did what they wanted to do, which was limit the most important weapon Brock Purdy has in his arsenal and put the game in his hands. And Brock Purdy was 21 of 30 for 1 touchdown and 2 picks. Minnesota's game plan worked, and Kirk Cousins came through. So while I don't think San Fran is trash, they're still going to be a force in the NFC. I don't know, Sturm, what do you think? Are we a little early counting the Vikings out? Like, if I'm looking at the schedule correctly, they're playing Green Bay next week, and I think that's a game they could win.
Yeah. They got the Vikings, they got the Packers twice. They got the Bears one more time.
Yeah.
So, you can probably pencil in 3 wins there, I would imagine.
At least.
I think that, I think Minnesota can, and Detroit, if this Ravens loss was a preview of the future for Detroit, anything's possible. Vikings could go on a run. But
I think I told my wife that yesterday that I think they're going to go on a run. I think they will. Go ahead, but I think they're going
to. They get the benefit of being in one of the worst divisions in the NFC, or at least in the league. So
but the way Jordan Addison has been playing, when they get Jefferson back, wow, that could be a sleeper, a wild card sleeper in the NFC. In about 4 weeks.
Well, they've won 3 out of their 4 games. The last game, the only one they lost to was the Chiefs. And if you look at their upcoming games, you have Packers, Falcons, Saints, Broncos, Bears, Raiders. All those are
all winnable games.
Yeah, they could go on a run. You're right. Yep. That's definitely possible.
So I got one last question: is Kirk Cousins a good, great, elite? How good do you guys think he is? Is he better than people give him credit for? Because everyone hates on the guy, or everyone loves him. There's no in between. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's elite, but I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's above average.
After that Netflix series, I don't know how you could ever hate on Kirk Cousins. Like, that is the most white dude, love my kids, I don't know how you can hate that guy.
But I'm talking like as an actual quarterback though.
As a he's
I'll give him credit.
He's not a Super Bowl winner. He's just not.
I've seen
He's
worse
not.
people. Jake Delhomme won a fucking Super
All
Bowl.
right, all right, Bob. You tell
Jake-
me right, Bob.
Yes.
You tell me right now. In the NFC, it comes down to Minnesota against Philly in Philly. Who are you picking?
Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, not Minnesota. You put Kirk Cousins behind New York Jets, they'll probably even rival the Chiefs.
That's not what I asked you.
But no, I would not pick Minnesota. But he
You-
could. It's a potential. I'm not saying they couldn't.
Minnesota plays Philly in Philly for the NFC Championship game. Are you taking Jalen Hurts or are you taking Kirk Cousins?
I feel like it would be like a 51% in favor of Jalen. Like, I think it's that close. I don't think he's better than Jalen. I didn't say that. I think he's top 10. I don't think he's even
I
top
think
5.
with what Philly did this week, I think they're back on the map for the favorite in the
I don't
NFC.
know. They've had a couple bad losses too, though. Or was it just
Lost
one?
to the Jets.
No,
They lost.
they took a mean beat to the Jets. That was it. And
Wasn't
then
there
they
another one that
rebounded.
was really, really close and they pulled it off barely? I don't know what it was.
They have one loss to the Jets. That is it.
No, I understand that, but there was a win that they had that was barely. I don't remember what it was.
I think they barely beat the Vikings.
For a while.
Yeah, there you go. They barely beat the Vikings. So they're coming back for revenge. Let me see here. Is it the Eagles?
Well-
they beat they almost lost to the Vikings. They didn't, but it was 34-28. Anyways,
I'll give Kirk Cousins a lot of credit for his financial management and able to secure those fully guaranteed contracts year after year. That's impressive.
yeah.
Dude, his contract, like that man is not dumb.
And I will say I think he's a very good bordering on great quarterback, but he's had chances. He just never won the big game, or never even come close to it. That's his big problem.
Hold on.
Well, here's the other thing. There's been a lot of rumors floating around that as we approach the trade deadline, that Kirk Cousins could be on the block for draft picks for Minnesota.
Well, I think that's going to be.
And
When's the trade deadline? What week is that? It's coming up week 9 or something.
week 9. Yep.
I thought it was this week.
I mean, by that time, the Vikings are probably going to have 2 more wins under their belt. That puts them at a winning record. And I think Kirk Cousins has already come out and said he's not going to waive his no trade clause. So if he's being honest, then that ends that because he's got a no trade clause.
I did hear that. Yeah, I heard an expert say he's not wanting to waive it, or he doesn't want to be traded, pretty much. So
Now, back to Brock Purdy.
also, we just see your forehead on the screen. It's a forehead stream.
Oh shit. Do you think he's being exposed?
I don't think he's being exposed.
It's
Brock Purdy?
You take away some of his weapons, and is San Fran showing some kinks in the armor? Is the NFC a little more wide open than we thought?
I mean, that's kind of what happened in the playoffs. People started getting injured. I mean, I understand that everyone got injured, but even before he got injured and stuff, it was just like things were falling downhill when 1 or 2 people get injured. So I think they need some more depth or something. I don't know what the problem is.
I mean, nobody's perfect. Like I said, they're not going to go 17-0. They lost the 2 tough games, 2 close games, 2 winnable games. But again, on the road against 2 tough teams, let's. I'm not ready to sell. I'm not selling on the Niners yet. I still would put them as the favorite. Them or the Eagles as the favorite in the NFC. And I'm not jumping ship quite yet.
Where would you put Dallas right now?
Oof. I think just out of default, they'd have to go 3rd, right? But
yeah,
it's not a confident 3rd. I would have said the Lions. If the Lions had beaten the Ravens, I'd have said, Lions are definitely 3rd.
yeah.
But not anymore. So it's probably Cowboys by default. It's like they kind of backed into the spot because I don't have a lot of faith in them either.
No, with the Lions loss, I would have to go with the Cowboys too. Yeah.
Also, by the way, the game I was thinking about was not the Vikings that the Eagles almost lost. It was against the Commanders, and it was 34 to 31.
In
That's what it was.
overtime, right?
I don't remember. I don't know. I just remember it being really
I think that
close,
was.
and they barely.
You're
made
right.
it.
I think that was overtime, and they did. It was a close game against the Vikings, and did they play a really close game against the Patriots too? I want to say I think they did.
No, there's only like 1-2 games that they had that weren't close. So I think that
Yeah.
that team is just really good. So they were able to creep it out like the Chiefs do or something. But just know that they can lose too, like just as easily as anyone else. Obviously,
It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, man. So.
All right,
Speaking of that, let's get into our picks. Let's do it.
Ow.
Week 8. Week 8. Time for a new person to be on the throne, other than Bob.
Damn, already? That didn't last very long. I'm sad. Can I just quit now and just stay on top?
I'm just gonna say for the record, like the record was Bob was 7-6, and I think we were both 6-7. So it's not like Bones ran away with anything here.
Thanks for killing the vibe. It was a fluke.
It was Bob picking New England and Atlanta that fucked us up. That was it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah. Well, he gets to pick first.
This upcoming Thursday, October 26th, we have the Buccaneers at Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 8.5. Bob, who do you like?
I'm not going to say much about this because I just in no way see the Buccaneers beating the Bills for many, many, many reasons that I'm sure you all agree with, are already thinking the same thing. So, yeah, Bills. What's his name might get a touchdown. They might get like 17 points, and they're making you think they're getting a good game going. And the Bills are going to come in the second half and just finish it out. So, Bills.
You want me to go next, Logan, or you want to go next?
No, go ahead. What do you got?
Oh, I mean, I am losing faith and confidence in the Bills as a team here. I'm starting to get concerned. I mean, the way the Patriots beat them, it gives me some concern. But I don't think that the Buccaneers are the team that can go into Buffalo and upset them on a short week. So I like Buffalo too. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I don't know if they'll cover 8.5, but I still think they'll win the game.
Yeah, at 3-3, I mean, Baker Mayfield is having a decent season. He really is playing. He's trying. But again, I think Buffalo is going to look at the situation. We're 4-3. We need this win. We just lost New England. It's at home. Yeah, I like Buffalo.
Don't forget they got Mike Evans, though.
All right. Next, we've got the Rams at the Boys. Them Cowboys. Dallas is favored by 6.5. Bob, you're up.
As much as I want the Rams to beat their ass, I think the Cowboys somehow win this. It's at the Cowboys as well. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think the Rams are good, but they're still 3-4. They're another team that will just whoop someone's ass for like 2 weeks straight, and you're like, oh shit, they're gonna do something, and then they'll fucking like lose 3 games in a row. See, the Rams will also have like a Super Bowl season and then win 3 games the next season. So they're just so unpredictable, and it's for the most part the same team. Puka Nacua, I don't know, but Cowboys defense is legit. They can stop people, so yeah, I'm going for Cowboys.
This is a harder one than on paper, I think.
It really is. It really is.
I don't have a lot of faith in the Cowboys, but I just don't know if the Rams can do it on the road. Whew, it's a 1:00 game, too, which Rams coming from the West Coast. Those are kind of tough sometimes.
I don't like the spread either.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with the Rams. I think they're gonna squeak one out. Just have a feeling. My gut tells me Rams.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to agree with Sturm. I think Cooper Kupp had a really bad game against the Steelers. I think it was like 2 catches for 35 yards. I don't see that happening. I see Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay making some adjustments. Defensively, the Cowboys have been dealing with some injuries, and I smell upset. So I'm going to go with the Rams as well.
All right. We do Vikings Packers next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got Minnesota.
This is always a good game. Always.
The Packers, the Cheeseheads.
So you could say
The
this is a
line-
rivalry, right? This is like a rivalry match.
Oh, yeah. This is a big rivalry.
You
Yeah.
know what I love? The line on this game right now is dead even.
Wow.
Bob, who do you got?
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but Vikings have always been my second favorite team. I used to, as a kid, watch Culpepper and all them, Randy Moss. So, yeah, Vikings, man. I think they're more experienced. They're a more complete team. We were just talking about the Packers, how we don't know what the hell is going on with them. We don't think they're that good. I don't see them, making an upset. So, Vikings.
Yeah, we just talked about the Vikings. I agree. I think the Vikings have this one. I don't think even is it actually not a bad bet considering. I mean, it's basically, they don't have to cover anything. I think that's a steal. I would take the Vikings for sure, and I think they're going to win the game.
Yeah, no, I think with the momentum of the big win last week in Minnesota against San Fran, Kirk Cousins being a lot more comfortable. Yeah. Jordan Love not being really effective. Yeah, I think Minnesota goes into Green Bay and wins this game 100%.
And the fact that the Vikings yesterday did what they did against a good team without Justin Jefferson, without him.
Yes.
Usually it's a disaster. But Addison came in there and played just as well as Justin Jefferson.
But again, that tells me how good Kirk Cousins really is. Like, people were writing him off as trade bait. And look what just happened. So, yeah.
Yep, I agree.
On next, we've got the Falcons visiting Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans. What do we got?
So what the hell, guys? What is up with the Titans? Like every time I see the Titans, I'm like, I want to pick them to win, but they're 2-4.
Last I heard, they don't know if Ryan Tannehill is going to start. They may go with their rookie.
It's not because of injury. It's just because they're done with him. I haven't heard.
No, there's due to injury.
Okay.
Injury, but
you're talking about Levis might start.
Yeah, but you're up, Bob. It's your pick first.
No, 4-3 Falcons. Who would have thought that already, huh? Kind of like your 4-2 Steelers. I was blown away by that. Shit, guys. I want to say Titans. I do. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with my gut. No, I could see either one of them going. This is a hard one.
This is a hard one. Atlanta's favored by 2.5.
The only one that's like it's freaking me out because Titans are 2-4 and it's throwing like, well, maybe they're not as good as I think they are. But yeah, I'm gonna do Titans. I might regret this. This might be the one that loses it for me. But because the Falcons are surprising people, man, they're actually winning. They're pulling off close games.
They're 4-3. They're not scrubs.
But
they're playing decent football.
Like they won against the Packers 25-24. They won against the Texans 21-19. They won against the Buccaneers 16-13.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah,
what the Houston Texans have been doing, that is not an easy out.
But they get beat by the good teams. 23-7 Jaguars loss. 20-6 Lions loss. So
okay, but you also got to look at a lot of the media coverage around Tennessee. Derrick Henry has been mentioned as trade bait. There's a lot of uncertainty in that organization. They're 2-4. They've lost a lot of games they shouldn't have. I think that is a team in disarray. I don't buy Tannehill or anyone else they got going in there. I think the Falcons are playing good football with a solid
Oh,
offensive line.
they traded that
Um,
safety, didn't they? Kevin Bayard or Byard? How do you say his?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I want to change mine then.
No,
I want
you
to
already
change.
picked me.
No,
No,
come on. Put me down for Falcons. You
no,
convinced me.
no, Chiefs fan. You said Tennessee. I'm going Atlanta.
Damn it. I hope they
Yeah,
just get the shit beat out of them now.
I'm going Atlanta too because I think that I think I said this every time I made a Tennessee pick, which is I can't trust Ryan Tannehill for anything.
No,
And I don't know if he's going to start or not, but if he doesn't start, you've got a rookie and a second year guy. And what's his face? I can't remember his name. The guy from last year's draft. But none of those guys are probably ready to play. And I think the Falcons are a team that beats the teams they're supposed to beat for the most part. And this is a team I think they should beat. And they just got a gritty win against the Bucks. They're good at getting gritty wins.
yeah.
So I go with the Atlanta.
Yep. All right. Next, we got the Saints at the Colts. Both teams are 3-4. Indianapolis is favored by 1 point.
All right. So, just so you guys know, last week we didn't talk about this game. Last week, Gardner Minshew, Mr. Mustache, scored 4 touchdowns. I don't remember who they were against, but it was a crazy game. Was it against the Browns? It was an insane game. The Browns came back and won it like the last second.
Yeah,
Or something
by a
like that.
point, 39-38.
Yeah, the Colts were ahead most of the time. So even though they lost, Gardner Minshew, it wasn't because of him. He held up with them, and that's against the Browns defense. Isn't that the number 1 defense in the league right now?
Yeah, they were. I don't know. They might have given up. They were the defense only giving up 200 yards a game, which was historic. Yeah.
So this is at Lucas Oil Stadium. That's a crazy place. It's one of the better stadiums to play at. If you're at home, I think the Colts, no brainer. It's the Colts win. Oh, and also like Saints are just they're worse than I ever would have thought they would be. And Derek Carr is, I guess, terrible. I always thought he was a good quarterback, but he is not doing good.
Yeah, he's not too great. I'm going with the Colts too on this one. The Saints are losers of 4 of their last 5. And Chris Olave got arrested this week for speeding, I guess reckless driving or something. And I've never been sold on Dennis Allen as a coach. And I just think that I think the Saints are going to unravel and go downhill from here. And I think the Colts are going to beat them.
Doesn't Dennis Allen look identical to Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs D coordinator? I keep thinking that's who that is. When I see
maybe
Dennis,
they resemble each other.
I'll have to
You
send
might be right about
I'll have
that.
to send a picture of them side by side.
I've got to say for Colts Saints, the Colts' last game was against the Browns, and Gardner Minshew lit up the Browns secondary for 456 yards.
Damn.
Like, he lit up the best defense in the NFL by far. Like, it wasn't even a contest. So yeah, I'm not buying what the Saints are bringing in. I'm going with the Colts.
Oh, when the Saints come marching in.
All right. So next, big division. We got the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. Miami is favored by a staggering 9.5. Bob?
Yeah. I do want to say that Belichick's pretty good. I always say with the Dolphins, like, just learn. If you know how to take away Hill, you have a pretty good, pretty good chance. I think this is actually going to be a good game, but it's not going to be a win for the Patriots. Dolphins are going to do well, but I think the Patriots are going to defensively. They're not going to get beat by 50. I think it's going to be a probably Dolphins could probably score 28. I don't see them hitting 30. But with that being said, Dolphins.
I'm gonna say Dolphins too. There's
Yeah,
not much to say. They've already beaten them once this year, and it may be closer than 9.5, but Dolphins are gonna win this one.
I mean, I love the defensive scheme that Bill Belichick had for Josh Allen and the Bills. I thought it was they played a great game. Mac Jones finally played a great game, but this offense isn't Buffalo. And it's in Miami. New England historically plays terribly in Miami. So yeah, I got the Dolphins for this. And I don't 9.5. You know what? I'm actually going to put a little plus sign next to my name, and I'm going to say, yep, they beat them with the points.
Wow.
They beat them
And
by
that's
9.5.
That's definitely possible. I mean, like I said, the Dolphins can all of a sudden they'd be like a runaway freight train and drop 40 on you before you even know what happened.
Yeah, yeah. So, set the battle of the New Jersey teams. We've got the New Jersey Jets against the New Jersey Giants.
Man, what a slobber knocker this one's
Giants
going
are
to be.
3-3. Giants are 2-5. Jets are favored by 3. Bob, who do you like?
Does anyone else wish Jim Ross was an announcer for NFL? My God, he ripped his head off. You know what I'm talking about from wrestling?
He's a wrestling guy.
Anyways, I always loved hearing him. He was so over dramatic. Jets and Giants. I mean, this is going to be the game of the week right here.
Yeah, right.
We obviously know how the Giants are. They've been playing kind of closer to their opponents rather lately, but they continue to lose. Jets continue to do the same, but they continue to win and surprise us. I don't think it's going to be a surprise in this one. I'm going to go with the Jets.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny because last week my wife picked the Redskins over the Giants, and I picked the Giants because in the last game there were a couple of things in Tyrod Taylor that I saw that I liked. I liked his veteran savvy. I liked how he could throw a very nice touch pass down the sideline and get completions.
Yeah,
You know,
I think he's a better future for them than
I do. Well, no, not at his age. He's very old. But
is he?
No, he's 35.
Oh fuck!
Tyrod Taylor's 35.
Jesus Christ! Well, you're right about that. Then I thought he was rather young still.
No. God damn! I feel like if Tyrod Taylor starts this game, the Giants would have a better chance. But the last injury report that I saw, Daniel Jones will more than likely start this game. And if that's the case, I mean, I like the Jets. I mean, you look at what Tyrod Taylor and the body of work he's done. Wallen, the tight end that the Giants have picked up, has seen more yards and catches. And that's the thing about Tyrod Taylor and that veteran savvy. He knows where to throw the ball. And with Daniel Jones, I just don't see that. So
he's just seeing ghosts.
I know. I'm gonna go with the Jets.
Did you guys see that?
I'm gonna go
with him. Doesn't he say that like an interview? I was just seeing ghosts or something like that.
No, that was Zach Wilson said that.
Oh, was it? I thought it was Daniel Jones.
Yeah. No, I think that was Zach Wilson.
Sturm, who you got?
I got the Jets. I think Zach Wilson plays well enough, and that defense and that running game are just outstanding for the Jets, and I don't think the Giants have an answer. Jets.
All right. Hey, next, here we go.
Real quick, is Saquon Barkley playing? I never know anymore because he's hurt a lot.
Well, he has a hurt arm.
What do you
He's
know?
he's questionable for next week.
That's sad. Like he's such a good. I wish he could be on a good team before it's like it's probably already over. As many injuries as he's had, I'm sure his career is close to being done.
Yeah. Next, here we go. Big matchup for my team. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jags are 5-2. Steelers are 4-2. Jacksonville is only favored by 2.5. Bob, what do you got?
Damn. Like I feel like coming off a win, they should be like happy. You know, the Steelers. Shit, man. I don't know. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong matchup. Hold on. That's the Eagles. I was like, damn, they have a lot of yards. Fuck. I don't know. Jaguars continue to impress me and prove everyone wrong. Because every week I find myself, I think, picking against them for the most part. Fuck, man. Why are you doing this to me, man? I feel like
Because it's your fucking turn because you won.
I feel like
You're the champ.
I feel like the Jaguars are the sexy easy pick, but the Steelers is a really good dark horse. Ugh.
So,
Jaguars for no reason at all. Don't you? I wish ESPN had me as an analyst.
all right.
I just like
will-
the Jaguars.
I will take it next. While I like the fact that Charles Johnson is back in the lineup, another week will determine. I know we do the show early, which kind of sucks. So I'm not going to know if Pat Fryermuth is going to be ready to play our star tight end. I don't know. Let's be 100% honest. The only reason why the Steelers are 4-2 is because of T.J. Watt and that defense. That is it.
Yeah.
That is the
100%.
reason. That is 100% the reason. Now, last week against the Rams, Kenny Pickett in the fourth quarter lit it up, put up some points. Again, Charles Johnson was a big factor, having him back in the lineup. While the Jaguars' defense is not outstanding, they are incredibly opportunistic. I think they're in the top 5 in takeaways, but yardage-wise, they're not very good. So again, it's who is the Trevor Lawrence that I'm going to get in Pittsburgh? So this is a tough pick for me. It really is. But with the Jags at 5-2 and the way Trevor Lawrence has been playing and the confidence that team has, I'm actually going to go with Jacksonville. I know we just beat the Rams. I'm a Steeler fan. I got it. We fucking held Cooper Kupp almost non-existent. We let Puka Nacua have his yards, but no touchdowns. TJ Watt had an interception. I get it, but Matt Canada is still calling our offense.
Okay, even though that wasn't an upset pick,
No.
it was for you. So I'm gonna sound the siren for you.
I'm the siren.
Because Matt Canada is calling the offense, it's not an upset. I'm going to pick Jacksonville. But it'll be a close fucking game. It'll be one of those fucking games that'll give me more gray hair. But Jacksonville will probably pull it out. So I'm going Jacksonville.
Yeah. I'm going Jacksonville too. They've winners of 4 straight, and they've kind of sneakily snuck back into this thing to be one of the top teams. And I think they're going to keep on trucking. And the Steelers are just too inconsistent on offense. I think the Jaguars will take it. I think they're going to win.
Yep. All right. Next, another big division game. We've got the Eagles, the Commanders. Bob, just say Philly and we can move on.
Yeah, pretty much. We just discussed that the Commanders almost beat them, but still did not. And so they will not again, and they'll lose much, much worse than they did the first time. Eagles win by quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. The way the Eagles rebounded from that loss against the Jets and the way they just dismantled Miami, and the Commanders are in a world of hurt. Howell is not the answer. I don't know what is going to save this team. I'm shocked that they're 3-4. I like Philly with the like. If the spread was 9.5, I would like it. So I got Eagles to win big time.
I don't know, really. I mean, they played him so tough last time. Is Howell out? Is he hurt at all?
No, he's not hurt, but he's on pace to give up more sacks than any quarterback in NFL history.
Oh, geez, that's bad. They need some offensive line help, apparently.
So, and the way the Eagles defense is, this is Eagles all day.
I think that it was just like them all getting warmed up. We kind of see where Commanders are. They're surprising, but they're not great. Eagles are becoming greater every game. So I just don't see this happening in my end.
Yeah, I'd like to pick an upset, but Eagles. I'm going Eagles.
All right, next we have the Houston Texans at the Carolina Panthers, battle of the QB rookies. Obviously for the Texans, they're 3-3. Panthers are 0-6. Shockingly enough, Houston is favored by 3, but I don't know. I think the Texans have a better team around their rookie QB, a better offensive line than people expected.
Let Bones make the first pick first.
Shit, my bad. Yep, Bob.
I get no respect. Like Rodney Dangerfield over here. It's okay. I don't have much insight in anyways. Panthers suck ass. They're about what we know they are. They're terrible. One of the worst teams in the league. I've never seen a game where I'm like, oh, that was close. They about won that. No. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. Texans are surprising. CJ Stroud, I'm actually a fan of. I've been kind of keeping an eye on him. I think it's pretty cool that he is doing well. Especially, I mean, would you guys agree Texans aren't the greatest all-around team, is it? I mean...
No, but CJ Stroud has had a really good rookie year where next to the Panthers are just in a world of hurt.
Dude, the Panthers have been getting the shit kicked out of them every game by double digits almost. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. You don't even need to explain this. Texans for show, and I think it'll be more than 3 points.
Oh yeah, I'd take the Houston. I'd take Houston the points all day as well.
Yeah, ditto. I agree. I mean, the Panthers have lost the last. Well, they lost every game, but the last 2 they've given up 40 points and lost by 20 each time. And I just think the Texans are a better team.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I take the points too. I think they're going to win big.
All right, we've got the Cleveland Browns at the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is a very tough game to pick. Seattle's favored by 3, which I find to be shocking, to be honest.
Do you think it's too high or do you think it's too low?
I think this should almost be even. I don't think Seattle should be favored at all. But
I think the Browns
understand why, because of what's going on with Deshaun Watson. But the Browns, that defense going into Seattle, fuck, I don't know. Thank God. Bob, who do you like?
So what is considered the upset? Whoever I pick. I guess the Browns are the upset, which is
the upset.
In my eyes, I think the Seahawks would be the upset, but whatever.
No, the Browns would be the upset.
Well, I see
Yeah,
that.
the Browns
Seattle's favored. Seattle's favored by 3.
But what I'm saying is what I think they should be. Like you said, I think the Browns should be favored by 3, not Seattle. But anyways, I'm picking Seahawks.
We don't. Deshaun Watson got hurt again. We don't know. Like, they have a great defense, but they can't move the ball.
Hold on. PJ Walker, right? Is that the guy who's playing right now? I wish I could find his stats. He's actually surprisingly decent. So don't count that against him. I don't know what his stats are. It'll take me a minute to find him. Don't count that guy out because he's actually putting up decent numbers. I don't know who the fuck he is, but I keep seeing his name the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm still gonna go with Seattle. Just something says Seattle. Like you guys said, it's a pretty damn even match, so it could go one way or another. But something just tells me Geno Smith. It might come down to the quarterback play. Geno Smith's been pretty decent. They have a good defense. The Seattle Seahawks are a good team. The Browns are better, but I think it comes down to offense. I think it comes down to quarterbacks, like we just said. I think Seahawks win it.
All right. Well, I understand what you're saying. They may have better quarterback play. I think the Browns' defense is so good that they're going to be very opportunistic. I think the Browns are seeing the situation that they're in at 4-2, and this is a game they have to win, especially if they want to keep up with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincy. This is a game that defense has to win. I think the defense dominates. I think the Browns do just enough to get enough points on the board to win the game. I'm going with the upset. I like Cleveland.
Yeah, guys, I I agree with that. I think I like Cleveland too, and I'm gonna rely mostly on the defense.
Yeah.
I think that the PJ Walker does enough to win, and I think that Geno Smith is not going to be able to handle that pass rush.
No, he's not. He's going to be harassed by Myles Garrett all day.
Yeah, I think the Browns are going to pull this one. I think it'll be close, but I think the Browns got it.
All right, the next matchup, and we're going to leave this to Bob. Shouldn't take him too much fucking time. I'm already sure that Sturm and I know who we're going to pick. But it's the Chiefs at the Broncos. Kansas City favored by 8.
Yeah.
Who do you like, Bob? Bob, who do you like in this game?
I get so much shit for this. You're a Steelers fan.
Bob, we want 100% transparency. Honesty. It's a division game. Big game. Russell Wilson, bum. Big game. We want to know what you think.
Have you guys heard
who's gonna win this game?
Have you guys heard of the newcomer to the Chiefs named Taylor Swift? That's the edge that we're gonna get here. Kelsey doesn't care about championships anymore. He doesn't care about stats. It's just about impressing his girlfriend, and he's doing a hell of a job. There's some stat where we're undefeated since the Swifties came.
Oh God, is she going to be at the game though? Is she going to Denver? I mean,
she's always there now.
She's going to Denver.
There's pictures of them kissing, holding hands. It's a full fledged thing. They're not
Oh
hiding
my
anything
God.
anymore. It was like a little secret. They were trying to hide it for some reason. But
Yeah, but doesn't she have a concert coming up? She can't be going to all these goddamn football games, can she?
she made $4 billion on her tour, and she's got.
Yeah, but she can't let her fans down. Come on.
Did you know her movie has been out for a few weeks and it beat Flowers of the Whatever Moon, the Scorsese movie? It still beat Scorsese. Like, that's how insane.
Well, but that
it is.
Scorsese movie is like 3.5 hours long. Who wants to go to a fucking movie
Scorsese
in the
is
theater
the
for
all-time
3.5
great.
hours?
You can't hate on Scorsese.
Only certain people go watch a Scorsese.
I fucking love
I don't
Scorsese.
mind watching a Scorsese movie. I'm just not going to go sit in a goddamn movie theater for 3.5 hours to watch it. I'll watch it at home.
Man, Goodfellas, all-time great. I could watch that over and over again. Anyways, so I have a feeling. I have a feeling. I don't rush you with your Steeler 45-minute takes, mister. So you can listen to about Taylor Swift for 30 minutes. Anyways.
Because in the Steeler game, there's room for debate. There's no room for fucking debate with this matchup. It's not even a decision. I'm going to pick the Chiefs. I would have picked them if they were favored by 10.
Oh, man, this is a tough one. I'm still going to sit here for a while and just say this stuff.
Tough one. You know what?
Chiefs.
Off you.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
It is a divisional game. You never know. They just played 2 weeks ago, closer than people thought, and this one's in Denver. It gives you any food for thought there, Logan?
No, none.
Damn,
None.
you're right. That was a 19-8 game. I forgot about that. It was close.
Yeah, just
No,
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
no, no.
No. All right.
Because of
KC.
that, you know what? Because of that last score, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey, and Taylor Swift are all going to sit in a room, and they're going to figure this out. And this is done. Not only do the Chiefs win, but they win big. It's not even. I don't care if it's a division game. No, this is Kansas City all day.
Yeah, I gotta go with Kansas City too. Though it might be closer than people think, like the last one was. Maybe Denver's starting to get a little momentum after the Packer win. No, the Casey's gonna smoke them.
God damn it!
So
If we joke around and act like this and we jinx them, I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm going to laugh at you. If you lose to Russell Wilson and let's ride, oh my God, you'll never hear the end of it.
I don't think we ever beat Russell Wilson when he was in Seattle. They didn't play a lot, but there were some years when they would come in and they would just beat our ass every time.
I just want Russell Wilson to lose every football game he ever plays.
I mean, I don't think he's great, but he gets a lot more hate. I don't understand why.
No, I think he's overrated. I think it was Pete Carroll and the system that Pete Carroll had is what made him. Since he went to Denver, he has been dog shit. Absolute dog shit. I think he's overrated.
He definitely has been dog shit since he's been to Denver, no question.
All right, so we've got Baltimore 5-2 at the Cardinals 1-6. You know, I know who I'm gonna pick. I don't know if I like the line. Baltimore's favored by 8.5. Bob, what do you got?
Obvious. Ravens are on a roll. We've discussed how sometimes they'll surprise us and just. This could be one of those games because the Cardinals have been playing close games as well. I keep watching the scores and they'll play close. They just keep losing them because they're only 1-6. I still don't. I think it might be close, but they're still gonna lose. So I pick Ravens. The Ravens are the superior bird, even though a cardinal is my favorite bird.
Superior bird. I will. I'll piggyback off on that. I think the Ravens are a better team. I think their offense woke up, which is dangerous, especially being a Steeler fan. But I think their defenses look better. Their offense this past week, I mean, Ravens QB lit it up. Cardinals, they've been fighting. There's been some games they've been in. So I think because it's on the road, I don't know if I like the spread, but I'd definitely go with Baltimore for the win.
Yeah, I think Baltimore is going to be too much for the Cardinals. I don't think it's going to be close. I know they've been fighting, playing hard, but I think Baltimore is starting to hit its stride, and I think they're going to win big.
All right. Big matchup. 425. I am looking forward to this. This will be Cincinnati 3-3 at the 49ers 5-2. There's going to be a lot of hype about this game. Bengals are coming off a bye week. Joe Burrow, another week rested on that leg. Jamar Chase, Baltimore, we know what it comes with. 49ers had a tough loss in Minnesota. Got something to prove. They're 5-2. San Fran is favored by 5.5. Bob, what do you think?
Bengals are coming in fresh. Burrow's was on a roll before he went into the bye week. Like you said, he got a little bit of resting time. Whoever else is injured, I'm sure they had some, so they're feeling good. They know they got a big time matchup, so I'm sure they're not taking it lightly. I think they're gonna do They're going to do well. 49ers, they're pissed off. They've lost. Did they lose? They've lost their last 2. Did you guys say?
Yeah, 2 in a row.
They're pissed off. They got a lot to prove. So they got 2 teams that have a lot to prove. All of a sudden, so it's going to end in a tie, I think.
Sorry.
What does that mean? If I pick a tie, does it even count, or do I forfeit?
It means no. It means if they don't tie, you lose the pick.
But what if we all pick one and someone ties? It just forfeits.
The loss.
I'll pick the Bengals, but if it's a tie, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. Something's screaming tie to me.
You're not gonna pick a tie. Come on. So you're picking the Bengals?
Someone ties once every season, just so you know. But yes, I pick Bengals.
Not every single season.
I think after the loss to Minnesota, they'll have another week, get a little more healthy. It's in San Fran. Bengals after a bye, you just don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, it's gonna be a very good game, but I think with what's at stake for the 49ers and the doubters, I think Brock Purdy might step up. And I like the Niners in this matchup. I don't like the points, but I'm going to take the Niners in this matchup.
This is one of the hardest ones to pick all season.
Tough. This is a tough one.
Yeah, it's just how healthy is Joe Burrow going to be for this game? That to me kind of depends on the outcome. With Nick
Bosa chasing him all over the field.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think that they're a better, well, I'm not going to say they're a better team. I think they're a hungrier team. I think they definitely have the better quarterback. I think they've had 2 weeks to work on this game. And they're 3-3. They're desperate more for a win, keep pace with the Ravens and the Steelers and the North and the Browns for that matter. My God, the AFC North is loaded this year, isn't it?
AFC North is ridiculous.
Yeah, they need this win. I think that they're gonna pull it out. It's gonna be close as hell, and it's gonna be a good game, I think. But I think the Bengals will top them in the end.
All right. So we've got the Chicago at the Chargers. Bears are 2-5. Chargers are 2-4. The Chargers are favored by 8.5.
Oh my God.
Bob, who do you like?
Teabag versus Sherbert. Chargers. I mean, the Bears suck. The Chargers don't suck. Just there's some key parts that do suck that are resulting into losses. I think Chargers are by far a better team, so I'm going with the Chargers.
All right, with the Raiders at 3-4 and issues at quarterback, and we're going to get to that in the next game, considering who they're playing. I think the Chargers. This is a must win for the Chargers. Like, they have to win this game. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. If they want to have a shot at a wild card in the AFC, they have got to win this game. So I'm going with Justin Herbert and the Chargers to beat the Bears. I don't know if I like 8.5. We'll see, but this is make or break for LA.
I think the Bears have some momentum with I think Tyler Bajan's going to play, right? We know that.
We don't know. We're so early in the week. We don't know.
I feel like that. Oh, I'm picking the Bears. Gotta pick the Bears. And I just think that they are going to have a little bit of a spark. And I can't. The Chargers are the worst coach team in the league.
They really are. They really are.
And I don't put much more faith or credit in the Bears, but especially if Bajan plays, the players I think like to play for him. I think they have a little bit more I don't know, spark or oomph or whatever you want to call it. And I think that it'll be close. I think the Bears leak it out. I really do. I'm picking Chicago.
All right, I like that pick. That's competition. That's good.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, folks, for the final pick of the week, my goodness, we've got at the Detroit Lions.
All eyes on the Raiders.
Raiders are 3-4. Lions are 5-2. Detroit is favored by 8. Bob, what do you like?
Sunday night, or not Sunday Night Lights, but you know what I mean.
That's Monday Night Football right there.
Monday Night Football.
All eyes are on the Raiders, my man. Fuck. I mean, they're still 3-4. That's not. I mean, if you step it up, you guys can compete for the wild card or something. So, this is a way to do it. This is a way to come in here and shut everybody up and say, don't count us out yet. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen, and I think the Lions are the Lions. They are good. I know. Yeah. They're not as good as you all keep talking about, but they're good. I think they're better than Raiders. The Raiders are just terribly coached. The Lions have a great coach, and that's one of the most important things on a team. It's one of the first things you want on a team. And, I think the Lions will win this one.
Yeah, I hate to say it, with the bad beat the Lions got against Baltimore, they're going to go home. They're going to regroup. They have a good coach. They're well coached. Offensively, they're good. Defensively, on almost every aspect of the ball, they're good. They laid an egg in Baltimore. It happens. Great teams sometimes, any given Sunday. But this is a team, and for poor Sturm, I hate to say it, this is one of those teams that shows up at your doorstep that you just have to wipe your ass with and walk away with a win. And unfortunately, with what's going on with the Raiders going into Detroit and how rabid that fan base is going to be, yeah, dude. I don't know if I like the points. 8 is a lot. I think the Raiders are going to fight because at 3-4, they have a reason to fight. So I think they're gonna. But I still like the Lions. I still like the Lions in this contest.
I'm not shocked by either of your picks, and honestly, I see no hope in this game. I mean, we went into Chicago and we could put up 235 yards of offense. That was all we could do. 35 yards for Jacobs, 57 for Adams, 3 turnovers, 25 minutes. We held the ball. No offensive momentum, no rhythm, no nothing.
Dude, your turnover differential is so
3-0.
It's
so,
zero.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I'm still picking my Raiders.
All right. I love it.
I don't blame you.
Man, that is a fan. I picked Jacksonville for my Steelers, and I love it. I love it.
Garoppolo, here's the hope. Garoppolo, I think, will be back, and eventually we got to get it right at one game, right? We got to get something right one of these weeks.
That's what I'm saying. This is the way to do it. If you guys fucking stop him and win, I'm gonna be paying attention to him. Like, okay, maybe there's something going on, because you can
Lions, Jared Goff for your team to get it right. Like, that's a tall order.
It's a tall order.
Crazier things have happened, guys.
I'm more worried about Aiden Hutchinson, frankly, destroying our line and breaking Jimmy Garoppolo in 2 permanently. But that's a real possibility.
I always forget about that guy, and you remind me about him. I always forget about him.
We could have a Lawrence Taylor, Joe Theismann-esque play, and we'll never see Garoppolo play in the league again. That's the danger. But hey, like I said, who knows? Any given Sunday, if Garoppolo comes out, it's hot. we get the running game going. If we get the running game going, I think we can beat anybody in the league. But we can't do shit. Can't get that going. Coaching.
It's like I know from last year. This is not the Jacobs that we know.
No.
From Las Vegas. It's not.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is, but hey, I'm still gonna pick my Raiders. Whatever. If I get a loss, I get a loss. I'll live with it.
So when we look at the standings, and this is something I kind of wanted to do at the end of each show, we kind of look at the standings and we kind of go over contenders and pretenders. So let's look at the top two division leaders, the top two of each division, and kind of assess what we think. So for the AFC East, we've got Miami at 5-2, Buffalo at 4-3. Miami, I'm right now, because they can't beat the real important teams, I'm going to say pretender. Buffalo, I still have some faith in. I'm going to say still contender.
I agree. I think Buffalo beat Miami as well, pretty badly. So I agree. I think Buffalo might come out on top of that division as well.
I'm going to go opposite with you guys. I'm saying Miami's the contender and Buffalo's the pretender. And it's because of Buffalo's inconsistent play. I 4-3, this team should be probably 7-0 at this point. I mean, the games they've lost are crazy.
At least.
Yeah, the Dolphins, at least, say what you will, they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, right? The only two games they lost were to two really good teams. Everybody else they smoked. So that's always, in my mind, the sign of a contender. When you take care of your business against the easy teams, and then see what happens against the tough teams. So I say Dolphins contender, Bills pretender.
All right, so the AFC North top two teams: Baltimore Ravens at 5-2, Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns are at 4-2. I'm actually going to say that the Baltimore Ravens are contenders. They're figuring out their offense is clicking pretty well. I hate to say it. I'm a fan.
You need to do all four. These are all four potential.
No, Pittsburgh Steelers are pretenders. With the defense is great, but a defense is only opportunistic for so long, and then you lose games. So I'm gonna call the Steelers pretenders.
So do you think the Cincinnati Bengals are pretenders?
Well, I didn't mention them.
I know, but they're in the division, and you said
at 3-3. It's going to depend on this next game. It's like this division in the AFC is going to be one of the most interesting divisions in football, because right now nobody has a losing record.
All four of them could make the playoffs.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. And if you look at the standings in the rest of the AFC, it's not a far-fetched possibility.
No, it's not. When you look at the AFC South and AFC West, possibility. Because you got the AFC South. The next two teams are Jacksonville and Houston. Jacksonville 5-2. Houston 3-3. I would put Jacksonville at contender and Houston at pretender, to be honest. Rookie quarterback, I'm just not buying it yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Houston Texans are pretender because they're too young, too inexperienced. And Jacksonville is definitely a contender. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the AFC West, you got the Chiefs, contenders. We know that.
Everyone's pretenders under us.
And it goes down to the Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, and they all have losing records.
That's all that needs to be said.
I'm just not. Yeah. I'm just not seeing it.
All you need to say is Patrick.
Yeah, Raiders are
Mahomes, baby.
Raiders are a pretender at this point, and the Chiefs are contenders. Yeah, and Yeah, if you look, like the Bengals probably, well, the Bills have the last wild card spot right now, but after that, it's the Bengals most likely. I mean, and they're coming up hot. So, and if you think about the other 3-3 teams, the Jets, yeah, I've taken the Bengals over the Jets, take them over the Texans, take them over the Colts, the Raiders. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely in playoff contention.
And then you've got the NFC East. Philly is at 6-1. Dallas at 4-2. Philly, I would put at contender. And 100% honest, I would still put Dallas at contender. They have some issues, but at 4-2, they're in control of their own destiny to make the playoffs.
So when you say, let's just be clear, when you say contender, are you talking about Super Bowl contender or just playoff contender?
Playoffs. I'm talking playoffs. Yeah.
Just playoffs. Well, I would definitely Eagles are a lock for playoffs, so they're definitely a contender. And Cowboys, yeah, I'm gonna say they're a contender for the playoffs, not for the Super Bowl.
No, not like when I say contender, it's just like, are you going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, they're definitely a contender for that.
So for the NFC North, we've got the Detroit Lions at 5-2, Minnesota Vikings at 3-4. Detroit Lions, I like as a contender. Minnesota Vikings, until I see something else from Kirk Cousins, I'm gonna say pretender. 3-4. Packers 2-4. Bears 2-5. I see the Lions coming out of that division, and that's it.
I'm going to disagree with you. Yep, yeah, and here's why. I mean, look at the 3 wild card teams. You got the Cowboys 4-2. You got the Seahawks 4-2, and then you got the Vikings and the Buccaneers and the Commanders and the Saints and the Rams.
I agree with that, but you have to take into account that the Falcons could win that division. Yes. Then you got the Niners at 5-2.
And I'm assuming the leaders all win their divisions. Yeah. So these are the teams who are competing for the wild cards.
So you got Seattle at 4-2. So you got Dallas, Philly, Detroit, Atlanta, San Fran, Seattle. So Minnesota could squeak. It depends on their play.
Yeah,
I just predict
they're definitely a contender.
I bet they win about 5 straight, and I think they will contend as well as the Lions will.
They have a fight schedule coming up. They do,
and they're definitely a contender to get that last wild card spot because again, their competition are teams like the Bucks and the Saints and the Rams and Commanders. So at this point, at least
they're one of the better overall teams. They're not amazing, but they're one of the better overall teams in the league.
Then you got Atlanta 4-3, Tampa 3-3. I'm going to say Atlanta. I mean, somebody's going to win that division. Atlanta's been playing well, so I'm going to say contender. Tampa Bay, pretender. I mean, Baker Mayfield, I mean, he's doing well, but the season is starting to wear on you. You're 3-3. What do you do next?
I'd call them all pretenders, except for the fact one of them has to win the division. So
one of them has to win it.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, the Falcons seem to be playing the best and the kind of the, as we said earlier, the grittiest kind of football. They tough out these wins. So they're the only ones I would say is a contender there.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if they continue to do what they've been doing for the most part and win 3 or 4 more here soon, then I guess we could say that. But right where they stand, yeah, they're pretenders.
And whoever wins is going to be one and done in the playoffs anyway. So that's what I see.
So in the NFC West, we have the San Francisco 49ers at 5-2 and the Seattle Seahawks at 4-2. The 49ers have lost 2 games that they could have won. They very well could be still undefeated, but they're not. But I'm still going to call them a contender. There have been some questions about Brock Purdy. You know, You eliminate Christian McCaffrey. You have some injuries here and there. Can Brock Purdy, when the game is on the line and he doesn't have his weapons, win the game? That is the big question. But I'm still going to call them a contender. Seattle, I don't know. Bob Sturm, help me out with this.
And you got you got the Rams.
Seattle?
You got the Rams nipping on the ass of both of the teams. So
No, Rams are 3-4. The Rams
but they
really got to win the next game.
These ones above them can lose a couple, and the Rams could go on to win a few. You know, we're still pretty.
That's why I'm asking about Seattle. I think Seattle are pretenders. I'm not buying it.
That's my point. I think Rams are a contender, and I think the Seahawks are not. So I see them actually moving up at least where the Seattle Seahawks are eventually.
I could see that. I could see that.
That's the only reason why it's like an honorable mention, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks, I'm going to call them pretenders too. And part of the reason is they've got the Browns, the Ravens, the Rams, still one more game against the Rams, 2 more games against the Niners, a game against the Cowboys, a game against the Eagles. That's a kind of brutal schedule they have. And, I'm not sure I'd pick them to win any of those games, frankly. Maybe the Rams, maybe at LA. I don't know. But for the most part, I think they're going to lose the rest of those games. So they might be, it's tough sledding for the Seahawks, I think, this year.
All right. Well, that wraps up the Pretender and Contender segment of the show of the standings. So that is it. That is
another one in the books, boys.
The standings. That's it. So,
there's no going back. You've picked what you've picked. You've had to deal with it. I hope I hope you guys sleep easy tonight.
I like my picks, boys. I see no buys this week, which is kind of interesting. In the middle of the season, no buys. Yeah.
Nope.
So
are we halfway
16-0? Who's going to do it?
Next week halfway through the season.
Next week I think is technically halfway through.
We'll have to do a special segment for something. I don't know. Think of something.
Well, next week we're all remember it's Halloween, so
okay, yeah.
Halloween.
So
yeah,
next week is our bye, boys. I guess.
Yep. So no show next week if you're listening.
Yes, no show next Tuesday. Halloween. Too much to do.
To all 6 of you out there.
Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint you.
We still need to put our picks in though.
All right, we'll post it on Discord.
We'll do our picks. We'll do our picks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us and listening to Scoundrels Talk Football.
Especially when these two know nothing about it, and I have to, show them the way. I appreciate you guys having to deal with their horrible hot takes.
The only thing you know
ignorance.
In Chiefs, that's it.
Sturmboch savant recallings of something back in 1963 that happened.
I know my football, boys.
I know. I'm just fucking with you guys. I wouldn't be able to do it. I enjoy doing it, but I could not do it without you guys. Sorry.
Well,
continue your goodbye.
The show.
My bad.
No, you're good. Thank you.
For sure. Yep. I appreciate everything y'all do.
Great.
Appreciate all coming by.
Bringing out football. See how our picks do. And again, we won't be here next Tuesday, Halloween, but we will be back for the next Tuesday to go over who had bragging rights and all that shit. So there it is.
All right, everybody. Sturm.
All right.
Man, you guys have a good
That'll
one.
be it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Peace.
Peace.